Hi everyone, my name's Amber and I've been building with AI and ML systems for about a decade now, and it's easier than it's ever been before. I'm excited to show you how you can build, evaluate, and deploy multi-agent systems on Databricks using only natural language. All right, let's get started. Now, the agents that you can build within Databricks, and these are in the Agents tab, are mostly around key use cases. So this is information extraction, so the ability to extract key information and insights into structured JSON formats. And you can actually use PDFs directly. It will use our AI parse document and create a workflow. So you can upload PDFs as well as other unstructured documents. Knowledge Assistant, this is our RAG chatbot. So this is the ability to just have a Q&A over your documents. AI Genie, so if you don't have unstructured documents and you actually have structured data in tables, you're able to use AI Genie to ask questions and get insights. And then maybe if you want to combine your retrieval augmented generation chatbot with your AI Genie. So combining all your unstructured and structured data and ask questions over everything, you can create a multi-agent supervisor. This could also be combined with MCP servers and additional tool calling. Custom LLM, this is your content or code generation, specializes to perform these custom generation tasks. And then code your own agent. So this is the ability to bring in other open source libraries, bring in agent frameworks like LangChain, OpenAI SDK, and start building your own agents from scratch within Databricks. Now, in order to break down the multi-agent supervisor, let's see what agents are actually powering that behind the scenes. Starting with the Genie space. So I'm going to go to my sidebar and go into the Genie tab. Here I can see my novel ideas inventory space. And for the sake of this demo, we are saying that we are in the small independent bookstore space. Our bookstore is called Novel Ideas, and we're really able to compete against larger bookstores because we have incredible customer service, we have an amazing community, and we're able to automate a lot of these processes that tend to slow down larger companies. So this inventory space is the Genie space that delivers intelligent bookstore assistance. It integrates with real-time inventory. It has aisle locations, product catalogs, sales data, supplier information, stock updates. And if you want to add any additional tables, in my configure tab, you can see where I have all the data linked. All right, now I have some example questions available, so let's click one. Let's see, what are the total sales for each title in the sales velocity table? So it's going through the sales velocity table, seeing the title, seeing the amount of sales. And then it also throws in a histogram. Maybe I want to see this information as a pie chart. And there I can see the information as a pie chart for the total sales distribution by title. Now I can add in different categories. I can add in different years of sales. I could add in different locations if I have different locations for the Novel Ideas bookstore, and be able to just interact and have that information available. All right, next I'm going to go into our Knowledge Assistant. So going back to my Agents tab, going into my Bookstock Bot. So the Bookstock Bot, again, this is your Knowledge Assistant RAG chatbot, Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is going to combine expertise from Bookstore Stack with data-driven insights. So if a customer asks for a book recommendation, it's not just an LLM pinging the internet to see what is a logical next book choice. It's using domain-specific expertise, curated staff recommendations, trending titles, new releases, that customer purchase history, and book metadata. That's all stored in unique catalog volumes and vector search. It's pulling from that information in order to give tailored recommendation, which helps make Novel Ideas so successful. So the current knowledge sources I have available So I have a few volumes. So I have a volume that has all the staff recommendations. So featuring personal reactions, reasons to read, suggestions for similar titles, really helping discover new books. We might also have paid book reviewers that are subject matter experts that are leaving reviews. Annotations, so these are key notes and they're all stored in a vector search index. And then I have another volume for recent releases. So this volume contains the most anticipated books of 2025, as well as trending books. So these could be on Booktalk, these could be national bestsellers, and kind of combining those lists. Now, if you already have a vector search index built, you can plug that directly into your knowledge assistant and use that information. Otherwise, if you use a volume, this vector search index is already created in the background. Now, I'm not going to go into testing right now because I built a multi-agent system that leverages both of these. So going back now, I have my Novel Ideas Bookworm. So I'm going to click into this bookworm, and the Novel Ideas Bookworm enhances bookstore operations and customer service by providing employees with instant inventory tracking and intelligent recommendation tools. This helps quickly assist customers with up-to-date stock information and tailored book suggestions. And what's powering this multi-agent system, even though I can have 20 different agents currently contributing and powering this multi-agent system, I have the Bookstock Bot. Again, that's our knowledge assistant chatbot, and then our inventory space. So this is our Genie inventory space, as well as an MCP server. So I have the Tavly MCP Server. Tavly helps enable LLM-based assistants like Claude to connect to real-time web tools, so for search, extraction, mapping, and crawling. Now I want to make sure that the Novel Ideas Bookworm isn't overutilizing the MCP server. So I have an optional here. Only use the Tavly MCP server if the question is broad and we don't have the answer in our Novel Ideas reference material. All right, so now getting into a question I want to ask the Novel Ideas Bookworm. So if I work at the Novel Ideas bookstore, I probably have customers coming up to me all the time that are looking for in-stock book recommendations. So if I say a customer just finished Rebecca and loved it, which in-stock title should I reserve for her next? What we would expect to happen here is that the Novel Ideas Bookworm is first going to ping the Bookstock Bot, which it looks like it's already doing, because this is going to give the tailored recommendations. And then once it has those material, it's probably going to do a reference check to make sure that those titles are in stock. So let's see what it's come up with. All right, so Novel Ideas Bookworm, handed off to the Bookstock Bot. Here we can view thoughts. These can get kind of messy because these are each individual process that the agent's taking to find relevant book recommendations. But you can see it's going through book reviews, it's verifying knowledge sources, and then it's able to figure out top recommendations. So we're seeing things like Jane Eyre for Rebecca, My Cousin Rachel, also by Daphne du Maurier. And let's just scroll down. So it picked the relevant books and now it's pinging the inventory agent. So that's our Genie space, seeing what's in stock. So seeing some top book recommendations, seeing what's currently in stock, and then it gave top 3 recommendations. So Mexican Gothic, My Cousin Rachel, Jane Eyre, giving a few alternative options as well. And so now let's look into improved quality. And I've already started a labeling session. So the labeling sessions are you can create a golden data set essentially with a variety of questions, guidelines, and send these out to subject matter experts. So if we have folks in the book community, people who are paid book reviewers, those in book club, those that are in our community, staff, I can grant them permissions, send out this review set, and collect feedback from them. I just have to open a labeling session. Now you can see in this labeling session, we have the question I just asked, the final results, and the final results may vary because these are non-deterministic systems. So the exact answer I got when I first asked the question is probably not the exact same answer I am getting now. That's why we collect all this information in aggregate and use that feedback to continuously improve our model and improve our outputs. So going into expectations, recommend no more than 3 books, don't recommend the sequel if they haven't read the original. And as you saw from the results, there were no more than 3 books recommended. And so those were the guidelines I already had in place. Now, I might decide, hey, I really think you should add in the aisle location to the books. So I'm just going to add the aisle location with the books. So if anything's recommended, you know not just that it's in stock, but you know the aisle in which it's located. Save that information. And then for feedback, I really liked the books that it recommended. So if we scroll down, I'm seeing Mexican Gothic, Jane Eyre, My Cousin Rachel, but maybe I'd also recommend Wuthering Heights should be in the top 3. So the feedback I would give is these are great recs, but I would also recommend Wuthering Heights. Save that feedback. And then when I'm back in my Improve Quality tab, all I have to do is merge that feedback. All right, so now we can see the question, the new guidelines, the feedback records, and as you collect more and more of this feedback, you can improve the quality of the output from your agent. Now let's see on the configuration. So going back to configure, clearing the chat. Now, if I'm an employee at the Novel Ideas Bookstore, I want to make sure that I'm giving good recommendations to my customers and making sure they're leaving satisfied and with a good book. Now, I could just re-ask the question, but I'm curious if I change the book, what would happen? Because we just had a subject matter expert say, if you liked Rebecca, you should also like Wuthering Heights. So I wonder if we change the book title to Wuthering Heights, if we would get the same expectation. So as you would expect, the Novel Ideas Bookworm would first call the Bookstock Bot to get the recommendations, which it does. And then we use the inventory space, or our Genie space, to check that it is in stock and including the aisle locations now, which we see the in-stock number of books and the aisle location. And so we say, perfect, here are all 3 recommendations. And as expected, Rebecca is in there. So this is a perfect iteration of using the Improve Quality tab, leveraging that information, and being able to use the different expectations to make sure that the responses are consistent. Now, you might have noticed we haven't actually used our MCP server. For a question like that, it would be nothing domain specific, but maybe a customer would ask, is there a movie adaptation of Wuthering Heights? So is there a movie adaptation of Wuthering Heights? Now, I know for a fact that this information isn't in our Genie space, it isn't in our Knowledge Assistant, so I would expect this is the type of question to ping the Tavly MCP server. As we can see, it's already pinging the Tavly search. Now we can just look through the retrieved JSON files from the Tavly search and then go into the final response. So the notable film adaptations, and we even know now that there's an upcoming 2026 Wuthering Heights that features Margot Robbie. Now, if you wanted to dive deeper into your multi-agent supervisor and continue to improve it using evaluations, you can go into the experiment tab. It takes you to your traces. So every interaction with your multi-agent supervisor, so is there a movie adaptation of Wuthering Heights, shows you what tools were used, how it was called, and every span that went into that trace. We also have capabilities like our scores. These are our custom evals, prompts, so prompt storage, version control, labeling, and then into evaluations. In our evaluations tab, you can see the runs that we have done for evaluation metrics. These evaluation metrics are such as correctness, relevance, retrieve groundedness, and we have a large variety of built-in evaluation metrics, but again, we also have customized scores as well. You can look at different runs to really see how your performance has changed over time. If I want to do a comparison to see in aggregate how these evals have started to improve, I can do direct comparisons. And I can even look into individual evaluation runs and see how they have changed. So what book should I recommend to readers who liked Mexican Gothic? For this, you might have an expected outcome. Like, I probably expect these outcomes: Jane Eyre, My Cousin Rachel, Wuthering Heights, and Rebecca. And then you can see what the model output is. And here, our model output suggested Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Now, that's actually a very reasonable recommendation. It goes into why this is a perfect match and who on the staff recommended it. So then you can change your expected output to then include Frankenstein, so you now have resolved that evaluation. So constantly monitoring your evals, having them evaluated in aggregate, helps you understand how your model is performing and what you can do to improve the performance of your multi-agent system. Thanks everyone for watching. As you can see, in just 15 minutes, we were able to build and evaluate a multi-agent system using just natural language and Databricks. This system combined a Genie space, a knowledge assistant RAG chatbot, and an MCP server in order to help improve customer experience. If you're looking to build these agents for yourself, check out the links below for additional educational material, courses, and a link for how you can sign up for your free edition of Databricks today. Thanks.